So let's start with questions on AI and Gen UI, the evolution of these type of interfaces that people have. So you mentioned that Gen UI is revolutionizing how we interact with interfaces. So Kathy, walk us through how a real world example would be where a static interface like Gmail or a stock market app could transform into a dynamic, personalized experience with Gen UI. How would that look for the end user?
Yeah, absolutely. You brought up a very interesting question, and I'm glad we are starting with this question because those who doesn't know what is generative UI, it basically, in a nutshell, means the UI is basically generated at the runtime. So, dynamically, all the UI components are being orchestrated for the end user. So, for example, if you're using Gmail right now, Gmail looks the same for everybody. Even the stock market app, any app for that matter that you're using, it's the same for everybody. Of course, it's responsive, but it is still static in many ways. Now with the generative UI, now imagine that when you open your Gmail, it will basically adjust all the UI components based on maybe your most used filters, maybe the smart summaries that you would like to see on your threads, or some things that will be hidden that you don't care about or don't want to see. And all these things happen depending upon how you are interacting with the applications. Even the stock apps, for example, the entire layout will basically change depending upon whether you are a day trader or you are a long time investor. Maybe for me, certain kinds of stocks are more important, and I want to stay updated on certain kind of dashboards the way I want to see compared to how you want to see your stocks. So again, depending upon the users and the user intent and the behavior, the UI will basically change and orchestrate at the runtime. That's how the generative UI interfaces will look going forward. So in a small sentence, if I can say that, it's not one UI that fits all anymore.
Now, we already have a lot of customization, and maybe you know the data behind it. How many people really customize those user interfaces? For example, stock market, you might have your favorite symbols show up. How is that different from how the system, or in this case, the generative UI, is personalizing and customizing? What's the advantage?
The advantage is very high because right now, for example, if you're working with even a workday application just to apply for your leave, or as you said, the stock market that you are seeing, now we are not just redesigning the static UI components and making it simplified. We are adapting at a runtime based on the user's behavior and the judgment. And to that, the data and the user intent is very important to keep in mind and keep it in check.
I see. This is very cool. AI is everywhere, including here, right? So how is AI reshaping decision-making when it comes, especially for product managers? And how do you see tools like generative AI influencing the way we prioritize features, allocate resources, and are there any risk of over-reliance?
Yeah, absolutely. AI can help the product managers and product folks, to surface what users are struggling with, and they can, what features they keep bouncing on, where they are dropping off, what is happening with that. Sometimes there are rage clicks, rage scrolls, and all those things can help, and we can bring those data points with the use of AI. But at the end of the day, we still miss why behind it, why something matters. So we still need the product managers to understand and orchestrate or stitch them together to make sense. And also AI signals, if we just follow them blindly, then we will risk the optimizing for the noise. So we don't want to optimize the noise. What we want to optimize is the right user behavior. So we still need the human layer for the judgment.
I see. All right. The next question is actually very near and dear to me because I build a lot of AI agents. Whether you're a small company or a large company, resources are always going to be finite in different capacities, right? So when it comes to token usage and resource efficiency, right? So you touched upon this concept when we were speaking last time and its implications for developers and PMs. Can you elaborate why this is a game changer and how do you do resource allocation so that there's cost and efficiency also taken into account?
So tokens are the new currency in AI world, and think of tokens like fuel. Every time your AI calls the model, it's going to cost you, and when you are scaling, it adds up really fast. So as a product manager, you can't ignore that anymore. And sometimes people think that it's a dev problem, or it's an infrastructure problem, or it's a data science problem. Actually, not. You as a PM, you have to start thinking about all these things when you are building AI capabilities. You got to ask that: are we being smart with our infra? Are we caching the right way? Are we reducing the redundancy when we are interacting with other layers? So you see, it's a complete mindset shift, the way we are designing the interfaces in the applications entirely.
I think because do you see that there is an immediate cost of usage? Unlike when you have compile time, there's a different type of cost of usage. But to your point, tokens is currency. Can you elaborate more when you talk about like those generative UI cases when you're making it customized? You want to innovate at lightning speed, but you also have to be cautious about how you're spending your tokens. Can you dive deep into that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So, without Gen UI, when you're interacting with a chatbot or conversational UI, all you're trying to do is, if the chatbot is not giving you the right answer, you keep going back and forth and you keep asking. And every time you are interacting with a chatbot, you don't realize, but every prompt is costing you tokens, and tokens means money. So rather than reducing that, more towards reducing that friction, if there is generative UI, what you're trying to do is. For example, I know that Kathy is trying to interact with this interface to book her travel itinerary. So rather than making Kathy go through 10 different things or ask 2 questions and then I will answer, chatbot will ask another question, then I will again answer, and then we come up with the itinerary. What generative UI will do is it basically will bring you everything at the same time, all the UI components that you need to interact with, right from the calendars, dates, pick to any sightseeing that I would prefer. Every detailed thing will be basically come orchestrated as a form, and in one time you can interact with the entire form. That saves a lot of time, effort, and tokens.
That makes perfect sense. I love that analogy because I think what you're doing is you're optimizing for usage and personalization. If you know how Kathy thinks and operates, then you know to bring forward and anticipate what she's anyways going to come and ask. So why waste tokens in iterative process when you can optimize it? That was a great example. So this is, I think, what you call is hyper personalization. Is that correct, or am I not on mark?
Yes, hyper-personalization is something very, very commonly used every time we talk about Gen UI, and also the user intent. Hyper-personalization comes from understanding the user intent. Hyper-personalization is also a very, very powerful concept. But at the same time, it comes with its own cost. It's also very, very messy. Because imagine now, right now you're trying to design an app that feels very, very intuitive to the millions of users, but they all are unique. They all have their unique ways of interacting with the interface. So what you need to do to support this hyper personalization at scale is basically smart defaults. You need real-time feedback loops. You need a way to course correct when the personalization goes off, because sometimes in the task itself, in the mid task itself, the user can change the intent. Now imagine how many times you must have done this, that you are replying to an email and suddenly you realize that, oh, I forgot to submit my timesheet, and you jumped on to doing something else. So understanding the entire thing, and even at the mid task, what the user is trying to do is very, very important to bring any personalization in Gen UI. And also in Gen UI, when we talk about personalization, it's not just the marketing brands or the colors and the themes and what your company is following for now. It's very, very personal to the user. That's why we emphasize on hyper personalization.
That's interesting. I have 2 follow-on questions for you. So, and I want to talk about chatbots with Gen UI. What do you think is the future of chatbots when it comes to, so when you describe a scenario, like you're planning the trip, right? Like you mentioned, and it becomes seamless. How far are we from this reality of every individual making it seamless, like creating their own individual itineraries? I know there are a lot of applications today. There's a lot of interactivity today, but that personalization, how far are we from that in your view?
So are you talking about how far are we from having those interactions in the chatbot itself?
Itself, correct.
Oh, we are not too far actually. To be honest, there are so many tools out there that are already supporting it, and you can start using these tools and integrate them with your chatbots or conversational UI that you're building, and it will basically so seamlessly that your users can start using using Gen UI very, very easily.
Name one example, 1 or 2 examples where people who are watching this either live or the replay, that they can go play with it and plan their next trip to maybe Austin or Sydney or wherever they want to travel in the world. What are some good applications or UIs to check out?
So if you want to build that interaction with your application, I think Thesis is one of the amazing tools. I love it. I have used it myself. And Thesis is at the forefront of Gen UI. You can start using and using that tool to basically create any kind of interactions or new interfaces that you would like. It can create entire application for you, or it can create this chatbot Gen UI interactions, as we said. And in the chatbot, when you use Thesis to create this Gen UI experiences, the use cases that we are talking about are endless. It can be for stock market, it can be for e-commerce website, it can be for trip planning, it can be for hotel and hospitality. So a lot of things you can cover with that. I would definitely encourage everybody to go to their website and give it a try.
The one that I'm really interested in, because it's my bread and butter to help others, mock interviews. If there could be one of this for mock interviews, a lot of us could benefit from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure someone's working on it.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing that I want to talk about is the ethical considerations. So we move at lightning speed, right? And I think a lot of this is happening every year. I feel like there's always something new coming, but we're talking about AI. Everyone's talking about AI agents, Gen UI. There's just so much going on. You got to keep pace with all of this. But when Gen UI is set to change, with interfaces becoming so personalized, how do we ensure that user data is handled ethically and securely? What are your comments or take on that?
Yeah, so when you're building any application for that matter, not just with Gen UI, but any application that interacts with or deals with user data, and especially when you're planning to bring any kind of personalization, super personalized UIs or whatnot, you are handling very, very intimate data. So yeah, ethics isn't just a side note, or it should not be the afterthought. It should be a core of the product design itself. So the moment you start designing any feature with AI capabilities, the ethical challenges should be taken care of and addressed from the day one. So as a product manager, as a product designer, we need to ask that, are we being transparent with our users? Is there a consent? Are we actually minimizing the data usage, or we are just hoarding it? And most importantly, are we communicating why they are seeing this AI feature or what they are seeing on screen? If we can communicate the why behind it, the user will feel more powered, and rather than we navigating them to the AI capabilities. So AI should never feel forced. Whether the user should always feel in power.
I want to ask this next question. I'm going a little out of order because I think it's so connected with what you just said right now. In this case, bridging the gap between innovation and accessibility. And there are two aspects to this. As we push the boundaries for what's possible with Gen UI, how do we ensure that these innovations remain accessible to all users, including those with disabilities? Not to say it's the same, or those users limited with technology savviness. So how do we address those two?
No, Suraj, that's a very, very valid concern. And the moment we start talking about innovations in Gen UI, accessibility should not be compromised at any cost. So honestly speaking, if your Gen UI doesn't work with screen readers or for people with limited tech support, then understand that it is absolutely broken, because accessibility has to be built from the day one. And Gen UI is a very, very powerful concept that actually gives you new opportunities to adapt with interfaces, and not just simplify the interfaces for the sake of simplifying it and call it accessibility or compliant with accessibility. So it can be very, very powerful if it is done right.
I think your mindset is very thorough in terms of how you would product manage and design some of these things, doing the right thing for the right reason. Really loved your answer right there. Okay, so if we can fast forward 5 years from now, what do you think is the most significant change user interface will be, and how Gen UI will redefine how we interact with technology? 5 years from now, how's it going to look like?
Not just 5 years, I feel very, very soon we will see this entire change coming our way, because I have seen, being in Silicon Valley, I can see a lot of companies already being at the forefront of it, developing it, designing it really well. So I think we will just stop using the apps the way we do right now. We will just, express what we need to do. Like, for example, book a trip or file a report or follow up on this customer, and the interface will shape itself around that. It will be very, very, the things that happen will be very, very invisible. It will be very, very adaptive to what you're trying to do, and it will be very much context aware. So that's the Gen UI future. And if we go one step forward, the Gen UI, combine it with now voice AI. So you might say these things to the chatbot, and the chatbot will use Gen UI and orchestrate the entire interface for you. So your interaction with the interfaces will be very, very limited and frictionless, most importantly.
I almost feel like, with all the new meta classes and things coming out, you don't even need browsers or a physical device like an app. The way we interact is going to be completely different. It's happening as we speak. And I think the way we think and design things, we need to catch up, else you'll be left out, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Cool. Thank you so much for shining light there. I really want to highlight who you are as a professional. So share a little bit about who you are, Kathy. What do you do and how do you make a difference?
Oh, I'm a product manager. I work with a startup, and hence I go through every little nuance of the startup chaos and challenge. But it's a fun ride. Whoever has worked with a startup knows that those are the Mars years. You learn a lot, and you grow a lot. So it's a fun ride. And with that, as you know, right, I'm a people person. I love to talk to people. I love to connect them. So that's why I'm also building on the side this community called eChai, where we're connecting folks from the Silicon Valley. We support all the founders from bootstrapping to early stage, seed stage, to all the way to 10 plus or 100 plus ARR. We connect them with VCs. We also bring a lot of product leaders from dream companies so that they come on the panel and share their knowledge with folks who are seeking or on the other side of learning new things. So this is where we are building the community where everybody can connect and everybody can benefit.
Mention some of the engagements and events that you guys hold and how you personally get involved and bring these people together.
We do all kinds of events. We do panel discussions, we do conferences, we do very, very intimate dinners, we do small AI founder circles, we do workshops, we do so any kind of event that you can think of, we are doing. We do the hikes also, we do the biryani dinners also. So food trucks, chai, everything that you can think of, and we do all kinds of events. But on those events, we want to make sure that we are doing it with the purpose. So every event is basically curated with a purpose, and the audience who are coming, we want to make sure that they also benefit one or the other way when they come for the event.
And I understand that you bring in global leaders to come into Silicon Valley, and it's a mecca of ideas where everyone is like rubbing shoulders, exchanging ideas. And of course, there's some great food and drinks and whatnot, but it's really driven by purpose to make those changes and have these great minds from a global stage come into the heart of Silicon Valley, isn't it?
Absolutely. So even the startup founders or the industry leaders who are coming from outside, from foreign countries, India, UK, US, Australia, any countries, and they are visiting Silicon Valley, anytime they come here, they also want to socialize. They want to build their, they want to understand what challenges Silicon Valley is facing. How are they navigating through this AI hype and madness, so to say. But also, right from meeting the other co-founder to meeting the VCs, we basically the platform an opportunity to interact with other folks here who are locally available in Silicon Valley. And another thing, Suraj, that not just Silicon Valley, now I'm extending eChai events across US, so across the country. Now we are hosting eChai events in 10 to 12 different cities in US. So to speak, in July, we are having same event, same day in 10 different cities in US. So it's going to be
amazing, incredible. It's no small feat to pull that off. And with the type of precision and passion that you drive most of the things that you do, I'm sure it's going to be a great success. How proud are you of not just yourself, but the entire team? Any shout out or comments to members of the team who have helped you bring this to life?
No, of course, as you said, it's not a one-person job, and eChai community is a 16-year-old community. It's not a new community, and it has taken a long, long time to reach this stage, and it was not an easy journey. So huge shout out to Jatin, who is a co-founder of eChai, who has been doing this for 16 plus years. And imagine doing the same thing for 16 years is not easy. And scaling it to this level internationally is also not easy. So of course, a huge shout out to Jatin and the entire eChai team. So every chapter lead, every city has a chapter lead. So every chapter lead is doing a fabulous job at running eChai events.
This is absolutely incredible. So for the audience members who are either live or who are watching this replay, and who are curious about eChai, how can they get involved or benefit from being part of this community? Can you shine some light on that?
Yeah, absolutely. They can go to echai.ventures website, and our all the cities and all the events are listed there. We also post a lot of updates on the website. And if nothing else, for San Francisco, we have a Luma calendar, so they can just go on Luma app, look for Echai calendars, subscribe for that. We also have a WhatsApp group. We also have a community that we support and nurture. So everybody is welcome to be part of Echai group.
I know I was honored you invited me as well. Maybe in July or in one of those other sessions, I'm going to find my way and meet you and the rest of the community out there. Just seems very wholesome and purposeful. So you talked about the madness and chaos of what's happening with AI. I think it'll bring everything to a measured consciousness. So really wishing all of you great success.
Thank you so much. And Suraj, we would love to have you for Echai events. Yeah, it'll be great.
Oh, absolutely. I think I'm going to find my way, and I'll coordinate with you offline on that. Any closing mission statement, purpose, or anything that you want to share with the audience to leave them with something that they can remember? Maybe they reach out to you, or something that they can take and professionally or personally, you would love them to walk away with. What would that be?
To walk away with, I would say, I know that a lot of anytime, any conversation that I hear in Valley or any events that I go and socialize with, everybody is talking about AI and everybody is talking about it hype. It's a this, it is a revolution in a lot of things. But I would still say to be on. Try to stay on the positive side of this revolution. Try to be part of it as much as you can. Try to learn as much as you can, because you, no matter what you think or you feel, this is here to stay. So you rather join the bandwagon in the right way, and be at the forefront of it.
Wise words. Thank you so very much, and would love to have you again back on Grow Your Mind, brought to you by Grounow here live on LinkedIn. So wishing you greater success, joy, and talk to you soon. And for everyone else, thank you so much for joining us today.
Suraj, I would like to give you also a shout out for doing such a fabulous job. You are doing like amazing work, bringing really, really good leaders and speakers on your podcast. And I love listening to your LinkedIn lives. So great shout out to you too.
Thank you so very much. Means the world to me. Thank you so very much. You're too kind. Awesome. All right, guys, take care. And until next time, wishing you all greater success and joy.
Yeah. Thank you, Suraj.